Okay, we're back. Okay, and we, as we said earlier, we had to move from outside to inside because it started raining. Mother Nature. So earlier we were talking about
Realism and optimism, and I guess pessimism. A lot of people say, don't be negative, don't be negative. I just think that, when you're always quote unquote positive, optimistic, you miss an opportunity to grow. You know, everything can't just be okay, and not every situation is okay. I think you have to look at the situation, realize what it is, and if there's a change that needs to be made, you need to recognize that there's a change that needs to be made. And know that it's not good. And it's not being pessimistic. That's just being realistic. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, we do have to look at the reality of things, and some people I know are negative all the time, and they're always
You see, I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone like that.
I know a few people who are like that, and it's always something going on in their life. It's always something, and it can be, to me,
Okay.
it can be the size of a mustard seed, but they make it seem like it's the size of an elephant. So everybody's perspective on things are different, so that's what makes it seem to them that it's so pessimistic.
But let me ask this question, because
but to me it may not be.
But see, you said that they're being negative now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you remember I told you about my trash can, and you remember I said no matter which side I put my trash can on my house, no matter which side of my house I put my trash can in, both of my neighbors put their trash in my trash can.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think that's a problem, now do you?
I would, before I turned 50, my mother used to say, when you turn 50, you're going to say what you want to say. Now, before I was 50, I probably sit back and just not say anything.
Mm-hmm.
But now, because you internalize that, and the other people go on and they're happy, or they're going on with their life, but then you, on the other hand, are sitting there and you're smoldering and you're like, mad about, the nerve of them thinking it's okay, and I have to pay for people to pick my trash up. How dare they think they can just put their trash in my trash can? So,
but am I being negative?
No, that's not being negative. That's being realistic, saying, okay, let me go to them, neighbor to neighbor, and say, neighbor, I'm not sure if you're aware.
They're not aware
that this costs, I have to pay for trash to be picked up. And this is my trash can. It's not the neighborhood trash can. I don't know if they told you when you moved in here that my house had the neighborhood trash can, but it's not the neighborhood trash can.
Okay.
I have to pay for them to bring this trash bin to my house.
But they already have their own trash can. Oh. Both neighbors have their own trash can.
Oh, well.
See, all of us have our own trash can.
Okay.
So I have my trash can. My neighbor on the right has his own trash can, and my neighbor on the left has her own trash can.
Okay.
When that trash can gets full, they use mine. But I'm not finished putting trash in my trash can.
Right.
So I may have just bought something like a big TV box or something, and I need to put it in the trash can.
Right.
If I don't have any room nowhere to put this box, then where do I put it? Keep the trash in my house? See, then that's not fair.
I would go to my neighbors. Like I said before, I would not. And so that's just being realistic. And it's not saying that you're pessimistic or optimistic. It's just realism. It's just being real and letting them understand, look, neighbors, in order for us to coexist here and cohabitate in this neighborhood, this is what's going to have to take place. And but what I was saying about people that I know, I don't guess I should say that they're negative. I guess maybe the reality of and how they deal with things are different sometimes from what I think could take place as far as like looking at things through a glass half full instead of half empty. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like some things in our life are blessings, but we see them as that they're a curse. But they're, take lemon and make lemonade.
But sometimes you cannot make lemonade from lemons. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes you have to see that for what it is. Mm-hmm. Because not everything that's bad can turn good. Right. Not everything. No. Not everything. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people say that I'm negative. You probably say I'm negative, but a lot of people say I'm negative. I disagree with everything, and I am very controversial. So let's be clear.
But you don't. It's not that you're negative. It's just that you don't conform just because someone says this or that. Oh, okay, I agree.
No, I don't do that.
You basically present your view on, okay, well, that was your view and your opinion, and this is my view and this is my opinion. Yeah.
But a lot of people, I hear that a lot when people say, be positive, and I don't know when the last time I even saw when I even said to myself that a person is being negative. Usually when people come to me, then I'm just open to hear what they have to say, but I don't put a judgment on it. Right. I mean, like I would say, I would tell the person what I would do, and but I think when we get too much, everything's good, that can just be so misleading. You understand? When I have friends that come and tell me they different issues and things, sometimes it's to me it's a little something, right. But to them obviously it's major. Right, yeah. And I try to help out in any kind of way I can, but I don't say that they're being negative because they have a different personality than I have.
Right. That's probably what I need to say. Not that they're negative, but their personality.
Well, not just you. I mean, just period. Because people always saying someone negative, but it's like it's a different personality. And I don't think I have met a lot of negative people. I have met people who are always optimistic, and to me it can be annoying. You understand? Because I want you to listen to what I'm saying. How can I work this out? Listen to what I'm saying. You can't listen to what I'm saying if just I don't want to say that, but you know what I'm about to say, but just think the best of it. Mm-hmm. That's not going to change the situation.
Yeah. And then sometimes, like I said, you just want to vent. And if I come to you and I'm talking to you, friend to friend, or, whatever, it's not like, well, I don't want to hear anything negative. I don't want to. But that's that, again, that person's point of view that's negative. Mm-hmm. But I'm just telling you how I feel and what I want to say at the moment. And that's how I'm feeling at the moment. And I want you to listen and just be a listening ear sometimes.
That's it.
And then if I ask you for advice, then
But what about those people who wear like you have a friend and this friend may have on a particular type of clothing that is not for them, and before they walk out the house, they may ask you, how do I look? Do I look okay in this? Now, a lot of people say, I'm not going to be negative. I'm not going to hurt anybody's feelings and things like that. Now, I'm going to be realistic with you. And I'm going to say, you don't need to walk out of the house like that. But anyone who knows me know what my intentions are. My intentions are not to hurt anyone. But if you're the type of person where you're easily offended, then you need to grow. Because, you can't grow if...
But don't ask me if you're going to get offended. Don't ask me for my opinion, and then I tell you my opinion, and you're getting offended, and that's not being realistic.
But now, are those people who are not being truthful to you, are they truly your friends?
Are they being realistic?
Are they true? Are they truly? Yeah. They're not telling you the truth.
No.
But are they true friends? Because they don't want to hurt your feelings.
Well, some people, I don't know if it's that they're not true friends. Sometimes people don't know how to come out and say to you, well, maybe if it was a little bigger, you may have gained a little weight and it's a little tighter than it used to be or something like that. But my thinking is if you have to ask me, then...
Don't even try that, Rhonda.
But
don't even try that. Don't try to
if you're uncomfortable with, and this is true because if I would wear like certain skirt lengths we couldn't wear, to work. Mm-hmm. So if I wear a certain skirt or dress or something, and if I have to question myself about this particular dress or something, or if it was too tight, I would say, you know what, I better not wear that. Or if I wear it, I better, if it's like maybe a feeling like it's too tight, I would wear, like a little jacket, a long jacket that would come down past my rump.
Okay, but now have you ever thought something about yourself and people see it differently on you?
Yeah.
Okay, so my thing is that if I ask you about my dress, mm-hmm. it doesn't mean that, oh, well, maybe I should wear it because I have to ask. Mm-hmm. I'm looking like maybe it's not as bad as I think it is.
You just want affirmation.
I just want your view. Mm-hmm. How? Because on me, when I look in the mirror, it doesn't fit tight. But I'm sometimes what I see in the mirror is different than what other people see in the mirror mm-hmm. about me. Okay, so then I may ask you, is this dress too tight? It may be a different perception from what everybody else see mm-hmm. than what I see. Mm-hmm. Because have you ever felt this way now? Have you ever been like, okay, you have gained weight, but mentally you still 130 pounds? I mean, everyone has had to have that experience. Like you still see women who's wearing, I guess maybe you still see women wearing certain shorts and you know better, right?
I've seen that a lot.
You see women wearing certain shorts or shirts or something, and you're saying yourself, and not only just them, but even you said, you know what, I'm gonna. You can't, when you get older, it's like a certain style you just continue to just wear. I don't know, for some reason. And you just think that you can still dress that certain way. When you picked up about 20, 30, 40 pounds.
Right.
But mentally, you still think that you're 130, 140 pounds when you've been 180. Mm-hmm. So then
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, so then it's like, well, let me see how this, I know how I think I look at it. Now that's something your stomach is sticking out or whatever. Mm. But when you ask someone else, then someone who's truly a friend, someone who is not being, optimistic or overly, optimistic, but they're telling you the truth.
Yeah. Now I would say to the friend, well, if it looks good on them, I'm gonna let them know. And I'll tell people in the public, even if I'm at the grocery store somewhere and I see somebody have, their hair looks good, or they,
yeah.
say, oh, you look, mm-hmm. all of that, you're looking good, cute or whatever. Mm-hmm. And even like with a friend, if I see them and we're going to lunch or doing something, I say, girl, you look good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I let them know that. And most of the time my friends, I can honestly say I haven't seen anybody not look good. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
To be honest. Okay. Most of the time, and like with you, every mm-hmm. time I see you from head to toe,
thank you,
she is always looking fabulous. Really. And I'm not just saying that,
you
but
too, Rhonda, you too.
You too. Always look fabulous.
Thank you.
Makeup, everything. Mm-hmm. But I usually try to be honest, but I'm just saying, but some of the friends may, that I've asked, and I'm like, they know I'm, I gained like 40 pounds.
Right,
and I know I've gained 40 pounds. Girl, you don't look.
So who do you trust to give you?
And then I look at my pictures and I'm like, I've gained 40 pounds.
And who do you trust to be honest with you? A male or a female?
I don't know, because sometimes men are so sweet and they're like, but baby, you look so good. Mm-hmm. You look great mm-hmm. at anything.
Now you know better. Now you know better.
They don't want to say the wrong thing because they don't want to be in trouble. Mm-hmm. So,
and then why should they be in trouble though? Why should they be in trouble?
And they wouldn't be in trouble with me, but
right,
they
think but I'm just saying, like with some men, they would be in trouble with their spouse.
They would be in trouble.
And then that's when it's like, hey, you don't want the truth, don't ask me.
Right.
And everything. Mm-hmm. And they won't say anything. But they may start going a different route, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
Of what they want to see. You understand? And it's only to be truthful. You know. So I mean that's that. You know. I mean even with, let's just say like with parents, you know, and family, you know, are there really some people that you wouldn't invite to your house because of the kids they have? You know. Yeah, there's some people that you wouldn't ask on a date or go out with because of the kids they have. Yeah, I've had those experiences myself. I enjoy my friend. I love my friend. We get along really, really good. But they're kids in public. You know, it's just. Have you ever experienced that before?
I can't think of anybody. Not with the children.
This is a long time ago
when they were younger. Yeah. But see, most of our children now are, you know, older and we don't have that. Right. And even now,
but you can't tell them that.
Yeah, you can't tell them that. But this is what my mother used to always say at different events: watch your children. That's what she would. See, she was older, and so people were they really respected her. So when she would say stuff like "watch your children," that was her way of saying, your children are acting
right. And that's another thing that we have
get them in order.
Yeah, that's another thing about being like strict parents and, you know, aggressive parents and passive parents. You know, my mom was very aggressive.
Mine too. Yeah.
And I have to say I appreciate it.
I appreciate mine too. I really, really do.
I appreciate some of the strictness my mom had on me because it made me become the person I am today. You know, passive parents, I couldn't understand those parents that would, you know, do certain things with their kids, you know,
partying
and drinking. No, I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand it. You know, or just letting their kids just spend a night over the boyfriend's house, or boyfriend spend a night over their house and things like that. I can't understand it. Yeah, and my mom would have never allowed that to happen. You know.
And then my mom wouldn't allow us to spend a night at anybody's house. If they weren't cousins and she wasn't there, we were not able to spend the night. And I did the same thing with my boys. They just did not spend the night at people's houses. And I see now why she did that, and I didn't understand it then. I'm like, well, you know, one of my friends had a birthday party and a sleepover. I'm like, but they live right down the street. Why? But she was like, no.
A lot of things we don't realize when we're younger, but then when you get older and become a parent yourself, you realize, because I've had some friends in the neighborhood I grew up in, and my parents would say, don't play with those kids. They don't mean you no good. Don't play with them. Don't play.
We didn't understand.
Yeah, I used to be like, you don't even know them. So how would you know? I'm saying to myself.
Right.
You know, and come to find out, they were right. They were right. You know, so. And
we don't realize it's for our own good at the moment. But as we become parents, then we're like me and one of my sisters were talking the other day. She said, beginning to sound a lot like, you know, like our mother. I said, you did. That sound just like something she would say.
Because I tell my sister all the time, "Oh, you sound like mama." Yeah. You sound like mama. You know, but I mean, so what do you think that parents are mostly today? Aggressive or passive?
Ooh, that's a
even grandparents today. I think most parents are passive today.
It's a difference now. I think that village that we used to have, you know, like growing up, we had a village, I felt, in the neighborhood. Like if something happened down the street, Miss Cooper would go tell my mama, "Oh, I'm going to let your mama know." But now it's
come
like.
Come out on the porch and yell at you.
She come out on the porch, yell at us, tell us we better stop doing that. But now it's like parents get mad because someone corrected their child. And even come to them and let them know, well, your child was doing this, and sometimes they get mad with the person instead of listening to that person.
Do you think any of it has to do with the laws? Do you think that the ways that parenting has changed has anything to do with our laws?
And that could possibly, you know, be a factor, because I can remember when I first started out out of college, and I was teaching right out of college at this high school, and they still allow corporal punishment, but you had to be a witness to it with the principal doing it, and they were only allowed to give 3 licks with a witness, and you had to sign off and all that. The discipline was totally different than it is now in the schools. I think more of a where they have more control. I don't know if I should say control, but I should say the look upon or the perception of school was different back then than it is now.
Right.
And I don't know if that law has a lot to do with different things that go on now, not say per se in the school itself within that realm, but outside of the school with people and
community
in the community.
I think the law has a lot to do with parenting nowadays, because there was no way I could call the police on my mom and dad and still stay in the same house.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there was no way. See, the police are saying, basically that the child can call on their parents, but they're not telling you where you can stay after you call the police on them.
Right, because you're not staying in my house.
Right.
That you're not going to do.
Right.
You got to go back there with those police officers.
Exactly.
That
They're not going to take you.
Right.
Okay. So, basically, there's certain things that children can do nowadays that we couldn't do back in, like my mom, when she got angry with me and my sister, disappointed in any kind of way, she would have us sleep in the bathtub, sleep in the garage, and you better not get in the car. Okay. It was certain things. It didn't kill us, but it let us know that we're uncomfortable. We don't want to do this again. You understand?
And then our parents were allowed to chastise us or discipline us with a spanking.
Oh yeah, I got.
You better go get that switch out there. You had to pick
did.
the right one. If it was not the right one, they send you back out to get the right one.
That's right.
Now, if you have a child who has marks on them from being hit from a belt or anything like that, the child can report the parent.
Yeah, and not everything
be taken from the home.
Not everything is abuse.
Yeah, everything now they consider that abuse instead of back then it was like that's what they did to discipline. So yeah, it has changed a lot where a lot of parents may say, I don't know what to do. And I've heard this before.
I've heard it too.
With a 5-year-old, I don't know what to do with him. And he's just 5 or she's
4.
just or 4.
Or 3. I've heard a lot of and their hands are tied. A lot of parents, their hands are tied.
Yeah.
But it's still you and your house.
Right.
Because even when I was growing up, you better not tell anybody what happens in this house.
No.
Whatever happens in this house, it stays
in this house.
And we didn't say a thing, Right. So, it's different. It's so different now with the laws, with the schools and everything. They know everything, And so I know with my generation growing up, we got all of that. Like with schools and stuff, you can get, the parents can get help with food. They can get help with housing. They can get help with medical. They can get help with clothes. When I was growing up, if you ain't have it, you just didn't have it. Right. You still went to school though.
Yeah, we went to school.
And you just didn't have it, And we didn't have it. I'm not gonna say it's an excuse, but because you came from a single parent home, that didn't mean anything. You still went to school and you did what you had to do. It was just no excuse for your behavior. You went to. My parents said you go to school to learn.
Right.
And that was the bottom line. No excuses, none whatsoever. You understand? So I think a lot has to do with raising kids today. Is a lot of outside involvement that goes on inside the house. Yeah. Just like you were saying, kind of like control a little bit, where it goes on inside the house. But I say, whatever goes on inside your house stays in your house. Unless it's something that's not that's unlawful.
Yeah, unlawful. Right.
Then it needs to be shared.
Right. That definitely needs to be shared
with the school or with whoever to make the situation better.
Right.
Or get you out of a bad situation.
Right.
Then you need to share that.
Yeah, right.
But
definitely.
Other than that, it's nothing wrong with discipline. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's nothing at all. Even the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. And you don't want to, spoil the child because then it's chaos in your household. And
that's true.
If you're paying the bills, then I know you want to be the one making all the decisions for that.
You should be the one. But I've seen it both ways.
Yeah, I have too. I've seen children running around and
telling
parents off, and I'm in the stores, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, wow.
And they're not just one race.
No.
They're not just they're all races.
It's all of them. And I just say, oh
people.
Wow,
I do too.
I'm amazed at it. I really am, because I just don't understand how it could get to that point.
And kids and children like discipline. They, whether you believe it or not, they like to be guided.
And they love structure. They love discipline and structure.
They do. They do. Have something for them to do. And not take it as something I can do, but something I have to do. Yeah. Why? Because my mom told me so. That's the way we did it. We didn't understand it. I couldn't even ask why.
No, we couldn't ask why. No,
you couldn't ask why.
No, we couldn't ask why.
Wow.
Well, why do you say that? Well, why we can't do this?
I couldn't ask why.
No.
Now that I do disagree with. I disagree with that.
But that's how it was, though. We couldn't ask. If she said no, it wasn't. Well, why can't I have it? Well, so and so have it.
Right.
Their mama allowed them to have it.
Well,
that was not done. But I mean now, but not then. No.
I think if you tell a child not to do something, or if you tell a child to do something, then you should tell them why. Because a lot of times they will chance you to do it. But if they know what's going to happen if they do it, then they won't. For instance, don't cross that bridge. Why not cross that bridge? Because there's alligators under there, and they have jumped up and grabbed someone off the bridge. Blah, blah. Then I'm pretty sure
they were vague back then. They said if your friend jump off the bridge, or you're going to jump off the bridge. But now I think with each generation, we're adding a little bit more on too. Like we explain things a little bit more. I think the generation now probably explain a little bit more. They do less as far as corporal punishment. They don't do as much spanking. They do more, timeout and that type of thing. Taking the phones, and that's okay. That's okay because you're still offering them some type of discipline, showing them if you're going to do this, then this is going to be the consequence for your action.
What about yelling at them?
I don't like yelling because the yelling. This is what I learned at one of my schools. We were a brain-based learning thing school.
What does that mean?
And that means that we offered low lighting. We have Baroque music, like classical music. We did different things like brain gyms, which allowed you to use your left and right brain at the same time. And we had this doctor to come in, Dr. Fritz, and he was a neurologist. He studied the brain. He talked to us about boys and girls and the difference in their development. And one of the things that he said is when you yell at children, they shut down immediately. We as adults, and this is what we would say at each other when we were talking in the sessions with Dr. Fritz. You as an adult, you don't want anybody yelling at you. What do you do when someone yells at you? You stop listening to them, right? You don't listen to that person. That's why I say I don't like yelling, because you don't listen to them anymore. You shut them out.
Well, and maybe that's why they're yelling.
And that's what children do when you're cursing and calling them all kind of names and sit your blankety blank and all this and that down and yelling at them. Would you want someone to do you that way? And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't do your children like that, because They're doing just like you're doing to the person who's doing to you. That's what they're doing to you.
So suppose you tell them to do something and they just don't do it and they ignore you.
Well, then you need to come up with some other type of method, whatever, as far as, offering them some other kind of consequence. No video games. Turn that video game off.
They're not listening to you.
Okay, you go turn it off.
Okay.
So now you're going to listen, and until you listen to me until this is done, we don't turn it back on. You bought the game, right?
Okay.
You bought the game system. So if they get mad and, and yell, I hate you or whatever, okay. But I bought the game. So, and I bought the system, and you're using my electricity in my house. So when you get a chance where you're paying your own bills, getting your own electricity for your own games and your own cell phone bill, then you can do what you want to do. But until then, I have the rules in my house, But you don't have to do all that yelling to get your point across because they're going to basically
shut down,
put the walls up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't agree with the yelling. Because I don't like anybody yelling at me. And I know with my boys, and I never did yell at them, but I know certain. You learn your children. If you know certain thing is going to basically not work with them as far as discipline, then that's not one of the things that you want to use with them. You want to do something else. But I know seeing them running around in the restaurants and in the stores and stuff and doing what they want to do is not the way.
It's not the way. It's not. As a matter of fact, it's very embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. I feel so embarrassed for the parents when I see that. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, I have seen some people think it was cute and think it was funny. Yeah. And I've even been in restaurants where it's like buffet style something, and people go up to the buffet to get their food, and you have the kids just run around. Or you have a waitress, just carrying the trays, and you have these kids running around. And you're sitting there, and only thing you're saying, only thing you're saying is, come here, and you're not even really trying to get the child to come, and it's just not fit. That's what I'm saying. That's what we were talking about earlier about raising kids and starting at home, is that you have to respect everybody's space. Yeah. You don't take up 2 parking spaces.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have your child running all around the restaurant because you think it's cute. It's not cute. I mean, even when I went to Publix today, and this is my biggest pet peeve, is, okay, listen. And I wish I had a bumper sticker. If you see my tail lights on, don't walk behind my car. Yeah. Do not walk behind my car, and do not keep driving when you see me backing out my car with the tail lights on.
Yeah. I don't like that either. It's like a disregard for you.
This is what I'm saying. Respect for people in this space.
Of the
exactly.
rules of driving.
And that is me. Don't you hit me. Don't you hit me. But are you looking for yourself? This person's tail lights are on, meaning they're either backing out or they're about to back out. That's what the tail lights are for. Right. So it's not. I drove 18-wheelers, and when I drove 18-wheelers, boy, everybody in the car wants you to hit them because everybody wants to get paid.
Right, they want to get paid.
But that's only if you make it out, okay? And so my thing is that people, these cars.
Speaking of yelling.
Okay. These people in this car, in cars, would just dare you to hit them. And it's just like, first of all, no one wants to hit you, but do you see me? Right. And I know you see me. Do you see me? Right.
I see you.
And they would, and because the car is so much smaller than an 18-wheeler,
a lot smaller,
right?
More
they
fragile.
just come all out in front of you, just and everything, and it's really not even called for. Because all I have to do is press that gas. You're done. You're done. So it's just like respecting people's space.
Right. Let's pause there. I'm gonna go tell Leon his mouth.
What? You want to end it?
Oh.
You want to end it?
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna edit that because Leon is in here. Leon. I'm sorry, honey.
Oh, see, that's in the mirror too much. It's too much.
It's
Yeah,
too
let's
hot.
turn that off then.
Oh Lord.
Oh, it's getting brighter and brighter. Let me turn it off.
Okay, we need to come down a little bit.
No, I turned the light on. It needs to come on. Why it won't come on?
Liam in there yelling like he's somebody's daddy.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I need to move this back some.
Oh, is it
Because it's in the mirror.
Look at his hair. Ooh, Jesus.
Okay, that's better right there. Let me see.
What they said, children gone wild.
Children gone wild, good.
They gone wild. They got children sitting up on the table, Liam in there fussing, and Lee acting like he the daddy. Ooh.
You ready, Rhonda?
Yeah, I guess we can.
I had moved it a little bit, Rhonda.
Okay.
I moved
But,
it. So this light can be on. This light can be on and.
Liam, I shouldn't hear you in here. Liam, shh. Yeah, they having a good time in there, girl.
They sure will. One
They
crying.
done
Why you
gone.
crying? Why was he crying?
Liam in there yelling at him like he's his daddy or something. Liam!
Okay.
I need him to turn on the now. Liam!
Rhonda, I'm enjoying this now.
I am too.
Y'all ready?
Okay, you
What
can
we
see
talking
both of
about?
them. You're
Yeah.
talking about when you're driving an 18-wheeler and
Okay.
and somebody.
Y'all ready?
Okay.
We're ready.